What's up, y'all? Your boy, Mr. Jinn, T-Noble, here to bring you the, second part of the first episode. I mean, some of y'all are probably going to consider it a second episode, but it's really meant to be in tangent with the other one because, that was chaos, wasn't it? It also, because we really didn't tell you who the hell we are. So we're going to take a brief couple of moments to introduce ourselves, and then we'll get on to stuff like DBZ, the evolution of entertainment from when we were young wee nerds to being full-grown nerds. And, damn. DBZ, I know there was something on my list before DBZ. This is why I'm supposed to write shit down. T, you want to...
Timer?
Yeah, we were going to talk about both DBZs, but there was also something else. Like I said, DBZ, the evolution of streaming. See, this is where I wish I had... Yes, My Hero. Okay, this is where I wish we had... licensing for certain sound bites. I want that one from what's it called? Half Baked Marijuana Effects. Hey, at least we're being honest about it. Sometimes I forget some shit. It's in the moment. It's not like I forget important shit. It's just like sometimes I lose my train of thought. It sucks, but I can regain it. But T-Noble, why don't you go ahead and lead us off in those introductions, and then we'll get this shit up.
You know I ain't good with this stuff.
You're about to learn today, motherfucker.
I don't know. We really didn't. What am I?
Okay. I'll go first, so you get a general idea. Hi, y'all. I'm Mystic Jinn. I like to party. I don't party very much very often. I prefer to focus on my nerd stuff. We grew up in, we were both born in 88, so you'll get the time frame here. But we were raised in the 90s and early millennium. We had to rent videos from a store, if you believe it or not, for the young people in the crowd. We came up with stuff like classic Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Hakusho. We didn't really have a very good comic book variety as we do now. Now we have everything. But yeah, I fell in love with comics and novels. And through that, video games. And it's been a beautiful journey to be with some of these journeys from the beginning and then now see where we are now. And that's why we brought this together. Is that, fandoms historically have brought people together. Lately, we've let political fandoms divide people. So I want to take a look at everything from a different perspective and use fandoms to help us do that. Now, this is my boy T-Noble. He's just learned how to make an introduction. Give him a round of applause once he finishes. T?
Well, I share a lot of what Mystic Jinn said. Growing up in the '90s. However, I kind of grew up alone. I didn't really have anybody to hang out with or any siblings, even though I do have an older half brother. But my parents separated when I was young and went to live with my dad. And spent 20 plus years down in the valley. Met this guy.
I know. Continue.
Met this guy through a mutual acquaintance at a birthday party. and then ended up going to the same high school, had a couple of the same classes, and got into many misadventures.
That we did. That we did. I was about to say, like, motherfucker gonna act like we haven't been friends for almost 20 fucking years.
Yeah, I kind of lived a sheltered life, really didn't get to do a whole lot. Mostly stuck at home doing chores, things that my aunt wanted done. You know, you remember some of that.
Yeah, I remember. No, no, the irony is her name is Karen, people. She is a real life Karen. Like, it was an Aunt Karen. So that's like, let me, don't, no, I want to speak to your CEO kind of energy.
Right.
Like, Aunt Karen weren't no joke. That woman drove me nuts. But yeah, that lets you know a little about us. And over time, you'll learn more. But we felt you needed to know a little gist of why, and we wanted to lay out nerd critics. If we're going to be doing fandom stuff, gotta know. Like, we gotta let y'all know we really with it. Now, I'm not sure if My Hero has 1 or 2 more episodes coming out. Maybe 3. I know it's supposed to end sometime in October. Or, well, this month now. Aside from that, not really sure. I'm really excited to see where we're going because honestly, from episode 1 of this season to where we are now, it's been firing on all cylinders, in my opinion. Like, damn. Like, I'm getting hyped just thinking about it. Like,
Right, getting to see All Might in the, well, I don't know if we should. I don't know. Do we going to worry about spoilers?
I mean, the episode's been out for like a week, like for a few days now.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be awesome to see All Might in that armor suit that he's got there.
And we also have to considering like whereas we're nerds that consume the video media, a lot of people also consume the manga, and they're way ahead of us.
Yeah, that's true.
Like so, quite literally, if you're coming into this fandom, into any of our podcasts, just assume there's a spoiler alert. If you're not hip to it, but like that's also why we're doing this. So like because we're going to be certain stuff that we talk about that people might not be as hip to, they haven't discovered yet. So in like everything is meant to gear people to learn new things, open to like maybe find something new. Hey, maybe put us onto something new. Like that's kind of like I said, it's meant to bring us all together. And I think fandoms, especially with anime and like video games, is a bit harder because we all have that competitive streak. As is proof of last night when you sent me that one reel, and I'm like, your future right in front of you. Did you really want to relive it twice? Like, gaming can be competitive, but like, I think it's also like, okay, like there have been times in our crew where people have gotten frustrated due to just sheer difference of skill level between certain people. But for the most part, we don't tend to have those problems. And we sit here and really, at that point, when we do have those problems, a lot of us like to take time to kind of help others get on that level. Like, okay, well, maybe the thing is you're using a character that it's not really your style, or maybe you don't get enough practice against people of this level. Like, let's run some matches. Like, but with anime, like as long as we don't get like into like who would win in a fight between anybody, that's why I suggested we do like dance offs and random shit like that. Because I don't like it would be fun to see it, but like power scaling and such, like you would have to find a universal level, and then it's just all convoluted. And then if you go by video game standards, did you ever play J Stars?
Play what?
J Stars?
J Stars? No, I don't think so.
Okay, you heard of Jump Force, though, right?
Yeah.
Think Jump Force before Jump Force. It was 3v3 of like the best of the best of the shonen manga and anime. Um, but if you go by that, like Ichigo had a one hit. Ichigo was the only motherfucker that had a one hit kill. Like get hit by Goku or Vegeta, you're fine. Get hit by Ichigo, you could have all yo hell. And I know this because one time online I timed it perfectly because you had a total of 3 deaths. Like whoever eliminated the enemy team 3 times won. I killed one and then lined up the other 2 and hit them with that shot. Win the match. Hit the entire enemy team with Goku's Kamehameha wave. Oh, that hurt. That's a little funky. So, if people want to talk about power scalings, I would just like to throw that one out there. According to the people that inputted that into the game, Ichigo would body everybody. I didn't make the game. I just played it. Though, speaking of great fighting games, highly anticipated, supposed to be a spiritual successor, Sparking Zero. Less than 2 weeks away. How you feeling?
I'm excited for it. Still don't. I wouldn't have chose Sparking Zero. I mean, I've played some of the other, DBZ games, mobile games. There's a couple of them that, Sparking Zero was a rarity. Like it's not very original. Like the Tenkaichi Budokai, that was awesome.
Yeah. I could see that. Like, but at the end of the day, we are getting, like, there's a couple of things I think about it that just make it above board. And in my opinion, unless, like, the game just completely, like, the mechanics completely below and the fighting system's just out of whack, I think it could honestly be the game here. Like, you're going to have all these nerds like you and me that played Tenkaichi and Budokai back in the day, like, oh yeah. And it's like at that point, a lot of those people have kids now, so you're going to have them putting on the next generation into it. And the thing that I think might make it Game of the Year is over 180 characters at launch. Not locked behind a paywall, not locked behind DLC.
Well,
I'm actually kind of hoping they make everybody work for everybody, like we had to back in the day.
Yeah, well, to that point, the starting roster is fine. Most of those characters should be locked behind content that's in the game. They should be rewards for things, or et cetera, et cetera. That was half the purpose of the Dragon Balls and any of the other games, was to unlock characters.
I agree. The caveat, like, I wouldn't mind them having, like, in WWE, you have to unlock a lot of the wrestlers, but they have an accelerator that will just unlock all of that for X amount of dollars. And I wouldn't object to that because there are those people that don't have the time to do the grind all the time. And to grind for like 180 some odd characters, I can understand. Like, if you work at like 40 plus hours a week and you're just trying to come back and like throw down with your boys and you want the caveat though would be you would still have to grind to some degree, because if they have the equipment and like the capsules and stuff to boost the stats, you had to grind for a lot of those. You had to get the money. You had to make a wish for it. You had to grind for like. So I feel it's going to be a healthy. Like I wouldn't object to a healthy balance of okay, if you need an accelerator and you can't like grind through all of it, like you can't grind through the game because you don't have the time that it would take. We feel you. Here's a pass to buy. For those that grind, you grind, and at that point, as you're getting stuff, you might get special allocated things that are that can only be acquired through the grind. Like you don't want too much of the like you don't want too much given away to pay to play. I think DBZ is a place where they can really shine in the aspect of balancing grind and pay, and not just if you want this cool stuff, you have to give us more money for a game that should have had this already included. Square Enix, take note. You make another Final Fantasy game and break it up into its discs, I will not be buying it. I will be talking so much trash on you online. Like, that, I will make that my sole purpose. Because you told me they were doing 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you do the same shit you did with 7 with 9. We're going to be having issues, you and me. Like, read the shirt. The effort that I put into not being a serial killer should be acknowledged and appreciated. And I do that by playing video games and watching nerd shit. Stop playing with my vices. Huh. Now that I've got that little Square Enix burial over with, honestly, like with the whole, like I said, we still have a bit under 2 weeks to go to see what it's all about, and we're definitely like expect a bunch of game clips of me and this dude just beating the ever living hell out of each other. Like, that's really what we've been waiting for this game for, is like, we want to beat the hell out of each other. Like, yeah, the story's great, and we're going to grind. But we're going to beat the hell out of each other. Like, that's a given. Like, you're going to get some clips of that. Now, there is still a lot of unknown. Like, I hear they're going to have, like, this interesting what-if saga, like, a feature where you'll be able to mix and match story interventions and such.
Huh.
Like there's some new feature that where it's kind of like create your own saga kind of thing is what I heard. I may be mistaken, but that seems interesting. That could be very interesting, especially since at this point in time, like if I did that, I Super Brawly versus original Brawly. That would be a saga worth seeing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you cared about your dad, bitch? Get the fuck out of here with that weak shit.
Like Frieza being obviously dramatic whenever he killed Paragus. No, such a tragedy.
That was like one of the greatest moments of that entire film. And then, like, because like you and I have discussed this before, he had to be getting his ass beat for at least an hour or more.
Yeah, and that tests to Frieza's durability, but also Broly ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, like that's why I get like everybody's like, oh yeah, like the fusion beat Broly. Like no, the Goku, Vegeta, fucking Frieza. Like it took all of them to beat. They beat a tired Broly.
Yeah.
Like, because he beat on Frieza for X amount of time, but he was also fighting with Goku and Vegeta for a good amount of time prior to that. And none of these people are anything to just joke about. Like, they all are heavy hitters in their own right. And Broly bodied all three of these people like they were nothing. The other two had to pretty much go and get a cheat code and have him wear down for an hour because they couldn't get the cheat code right. Had they got the fusion right at the first moment and went back, I think Brawley would have still beat their ass. That's just how I feel about it. Like, because like even if you pay attention to when like Brawl, like you could see like they are making an effort to make him look winded. Like he's not just like laughing, he's like breathing heavy. It's like, okay, Brawley's been beating people's ass for a while. Y'all couldn't have done got the fusion mastered, gave him 5-10 minutes, and then like you let him catch his breath, give him like Goku. Where's that like sportsman-like energy? Give him that sensu bean, man. He offers everybody else one. Why not Brawley? You know why? Because Vegeta was like, we ain't playing that shit, Goku. We need to put this man down. And plus, if he had taken that sensu bean after all that fighting, they just weren't. Like I said.
Because that's probably the first real best workout that Broly had ever had. And he probably would have come back a lot more powerful after recovering. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, they even show that in the superhero movie. While he's rocking, or after the movie, like, he sits here, like, they have a couple of instances where they pretty much show him chilling with the gang. And it's like, yeah, like, stronger. And, like, it's going to be, like, honestly, like, okay, now that we've talked about the Sparking Zero, let's get into Diamond. I honestly have mixed feelings about it. I'm excited about it, and I want to watch it, and I'm going to watch it just because it's the last work left to us. Like, but at the same time, it kind of just seems like a repeat of fucking GT, and I fucking hated GT. What are your initial thoughts on it?
Well, I really don't even know what the plot of the story is. I just apparently know that Goku is a kid again. And apparently, I guess Vegeta and Supreme Kai as well.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like it's a redo of what GT.
Yeah. Like, that's exactly, like, the plot is dramatically different from my understanding. Someone's trying to kill the Supreme Kai so they can kill Beerus. Apparently he dies, so does he. So they make him a child to make it easier, which I don't know who would actually, like, who in their right mind would need the child, like, for the Supreme Kai to be a child to do it. I mean,
he wasn't all that powerful to begin with.
Yeah, I was like, he's like, you could send Yamcha to body him, and like Yamcha could get the job done. So, like, I don't know the what's, the hows behind it, but yeah, that's the gist of what's going on. And I personally would have just rather they continue with. I want to know what's going on with Brawley. I want to know what's going on with Beast Gohan. I want to know those kind of answers. I don't give a fuck about the Supreme Kai.
Honestly, I think it would be pretty interesting to see if you were to take going all the way back to Dragon Ball Z and just reimagining it with everything that they've released that's supposed to be canon. And, you know.
Well, the technicalities of it is the only thing that's supposed to be canon are the movies that tie into. Like, the Brawley movie was to make Brawley canon.
No, I know, but there was a lot of things that could have been done different or better to make the story better. I mean, the show, originally started in the 80s, 70s, went through the 90s. and then you ended with what GT in the early 2000s.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of the older Japanese anime, the dialogue is just it's different.
I like at that point in time, you have to understand shit gets lost in translation, and at those point in times, while we were growing up and getting the various like the various versions, like there's like it's in English and like four different forms of English, and all of them say something slightly different.
Right.
Like so, it like I understand where that comes from. Like I feel if you're gonna expand it to multi cultural audiences, you need to sit here and keep that in, like you need to have people from those cultures involved in the writing of the dialogue that's going to be presented to the other cultures rather than the original culture.
Yeah.
Because Japanese, like the structure of Japanese language is way different than like an American speak.
Yeah.
So I could see like that's why some of the dialogue sometimes comes out wonky. Like now we're more aware of that, and it's not as difficult to translate shit as it was back in the day. Like back in the day, you had to have someone that knew both languages and be like, okay, how do I fit? Like now you can sit here and put it into Google and get like three different versions of what you're trying to say.
Right.
Like it is a beautiful time considering, like we said, we're from like we are the last real group that dabbled in completely analog. Like we had to go to the video store. It was like funny enough, one of the video stores would have been alive right now. Like Blockbuster actually had the option to buy Netflix. Netflix wanted them to buy them.
I heard about that. And I think there's still one Blockbuster store.
No, I think that one actually closed, and I think they made it into kind of like a restaurant or some shit like that.
Well,
like it closed like 5 years ago, like the very last one. I think it might still be open. I might be wrong. I'll dabble that down for a check so we can let them know on the next episode. But used to be if you wanted to play a game, watch a movie, you had to go and get it. There was no like, hey, let me see if it's on Netflix, Hulu. Let me buy it on Amazon or YouTube. There was none of that. Like,
right.
We had to suffer in misery.
And then take the chance that somebody hadn't already taken all the copies.
Yeah. And like, guy, like for the younger people, I want y'all to imagine here, your only option is a video or watching television or listening to the radio, having no choice on what's on any of them.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
And then if you wanted to know what the TV schedule was, you had to have the TV guide from the newspaper.
Yep. Like,
how many people even know what a TV guide is anymore?
I wonder how many people like how many people would like. I don't think this generation would have survived it. I really don't.
Say that again?
I don't think this generation would have survived in the 90s. I don't.
No, I don't think so either.
Like, some of it, I'm happy y'all, like, you don't have, like, some of the experiences. I'm happy y'all have variety. Y'all also never went outside. Like, y'all never had to figure out what to do with your time. You just had options and just picked whatever. You never had, like, oh, well, I have nothing to do. Let's go hang out with the boys. Let's go run around the neighborhood. Let's do this. Let's beat the shit out of each other with sticks.
Or if you're by yourself, you scour the property looking at bugs, catching lizards and other reptiles or, frogs, stuff like that,
Okay, I was worried you were going to go somewhere completely different when you said by yourself.
No.
Uh, but yeah, like that, and because like this generation's not really out, like never really had to do any times outdoors. So like, if everything crashed tomorrow, like the late half millennials and Gen Z would like freak the fuck out. Like, what's this? A book? I have to read a book? Where's my Kindle? Where's my phone? Like, but like that's not even the things that I'm talking. But like, we went outside. We got hurt. We got into conflicts, and sometimes there was some shoving. Sometimes there was some hitting. But we grew and we learned how to process those things. We learned that it's not always appropriate to get to that level, but sometimes it's absolutely necessary. And a lot of people are, like, I feel it's led to a lot of the victimhood mentality of nowadays, is because a lot of people don't really know what it is to be a victim of violence, be a victim of genuine bullying, like getting pulled aside from the hall, get the shit beat out of you. No one, like, teachers aren't doing anything. Like, there are some people that still understand that, but I think a large portion of them aren't those people. Like, we need to help those people that are actually being bullied. But just because someone says something that you disagree with doesn't mean that they're bullying, especially if it's a fact.
Just like that one time, I don't remember his last name, but David came up to me in the hall one day at school and just apologized to me and was like, "Hey, man, if you ever happen to shoot up the school, like, hey, I'm sorry."
Oh, Sally?
Yeah.
The one from ROTC, the captain.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sally was always good people. I actually need to reach out to them. Like, apparently, I ran into one of my old boys from ROTC, and they were like, "Hey, he was asking about you." I'm like, "Man has me on Facebook. My number hasn't changed in 20 years." Like, but I've been meaning to reach out to him. Like, and like, actually, I don't think people really understand that, like, our core crew were the people that people like worried about, like that was their worry about us, and that's why after like sophomore year, people pretty much fucking left us the fuck alone. It was a good time.
Well, I did still have a couple of people that messed with me. You remember? I can't remember his name now. It was that white redneck kid, kind of short. He would hang out with the taller guy, Cody. They were they would the short guy would pick on me. This was I guess our repeat freshman year.
Okay, yeah, like no, but I'm talking about after that particular year, because that was the year that like our repeat freshman year was the year that me, Schizo, and Keo punked out Northside in the vocational parking lot. Like, they wanted to fight, like, because it was over that shit with that one chick that sat here and was throwing shit at you and Aaron. And then she decided to get into it with me. And, well, like, you were more timid than I was then. Homie didn't play that. Watch how the fuck you talk to me.
Yeah.
And that led into, like, her being, like, this woman was gang royalty, apparently. And, long story short, these people fucked around and found out. Like, we went to the meat side. They didn't like that we were in trench coats that had a bunch of unsavory things. And after that, they decided that she should, like, they're like, "Hey, man, if you'll apologize for what you said, like, we could save face here." Like, I'm like, okay, I was actually out of line for what I said. Like, I'll even own up. Like, I said some fucked up shit to this chick. Like, she was fucked up too, but that doesn't excuse me being fucked up. and going to the level that I did. But let's understand, like, high school me to like well, started high school me, especially after high school to my mid 20s. It would be safe to compare that me with like 90s Shawn Michaels. I wasn't the nicest person. I didn't really get along well with others, and I kind of did whatever the hell I wanted.
Yeah.
So I do apologize for my end of that, but like this chick was bullying him and his girlfriend for no fucking reason other than the color of their skin.
I barely remember that. I hadn't thought about that probably since it happened. But yeah, now that you mention it, it's like, yeah, I remember that. Like Aaron was ready to throw down.
Yeah, like I'm just there like this was when we formed like the little like this was like right around the time we had just formed the little outclassed clique of like the emos, the scenes, the goths, and people that generally don't fit in the top of the social hierarchy. And I'm like, oh, you can't mess with my kind of people like that. Like, no. And I tried to talk it civilly, and then like she said some shit. I said what I said, which I will not repeat. And we went into getting into some gangster shit. And then the gangsters decided they did not want to get into gangster shit with goths and freaks and juggalos. It just wasn't going to go their way. But like I went to apologize. Like she wanted some dramatic, like it just wasn't okay. It did happen, but I made a complete joke out of it. And then I went and explained to them, and they were like, "Oh no, bro, she's being unreasonable now. You tried. You go about your business. God bless." I remember because that's when Paul was still there. Like after like we punked them out, Paul was the middleman. Like, and then I remember afterwards he just smacked both sides on the chest. Like, all right, we good. I'm like, nigga, this ain't football.
Yeah, he was a cool guy.
I missed like that's one like him and Big David, the David that was only in school with us for like a year.
Yeah,
He would hang out with us at the library. I missed those two guys.
yeah, he was cool.
Actually, you know who also wasn't bad? Metzger wasn't bad either. Fuck Carrie though. Fuck that prick.
He made things more difficult than they needed to be.
Oh no, I know. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm kind of the one that brought you to the world. Correct? I try to do that for anyone I feel sheltered, but at the same time, I try to protect them from the ease of it. You know, for instance, I didn't let certain people partake in certain habits. Like, but this motherfucker I don't know. The boy ain't right.
I mean, I was sheltered, but that boy, it was just a different level for him.
Like, they're sheltered, but like he just didn't want to acclimate, I feel. Like we would tell him, like, hey man, you can't do that kind of shit. And then he would go and do that kind of shit. It comes down to the boy just wasn't. Actually, speaking of people that aren't right, anybody hear anything about Charlie?
Last I knew, he was living with his brother.
Okay. I just want to make sure the cat's okay.
I don't think my dad's heard from him in a good while, but last we knew, they were doing okay.
All right, that's good.
As long as Charlie was getting his medicines, he was okay. But he didn't like how the medicine made him feel, so he would stop taking it.
Yeah, but like I also feel for his with him, like that was one of those things that I don't think they ever took the time to like actually properly balance his medicine. Like
Um,
they just gave him medicine without the thoughts of all the medicine he was giving him. Like, you know what, this and this isn't a good combination. Like we were still in that time where people were just giving like any problem mentally. Oh, take this, this, and this. Like I'm hoping now they have a more like they have the meds to where it's doing its job, but they don't make him feel not him. You know?
right. Yeah, because it was a shame. I mean, whenever he was in high school, he was a straight A student, I believe. He was in band, uh, and then something just broke in him, and he had the schizophrenia, among other things, and he would get lost in the hallucinations.
Yeah. Like like even with him not like I actually genuinely enjoyed hanging out with Charlie.
Yeah, he was a cool guy.
Like even like the only time I really had an issue was the one time he tried to light us all on fire in our fucking sleep.
Yeah, there was one day that my dad was asleep. I don't know where I don't remember where I was, but my dad. It was nighttime. My dad was asleep, and he woke up to Charlie standing in front of him, muttering to himself while he was sharpening a knife. And then my dad was just like, "What are you doing, Charlie?" And then he responded, "He's like, well, go to sleep, Charlie." Okay, and he turned around and walked away.
Yeah, like I suppose like the reason like a lot of people might have been uneasy like contact her. Like I'm personally I'm not sure I'm all quite there, but like Charlie like hanging out with Charlie just was like hey. As long as we had like something to keep him focused on was always a blast. And he always came up with the wildest stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. He had a briefcase completely empty that was worth $1 million, and he had to deliver it to the president.
No, no, no. My favorite was the time that he went into jail for whatever reason, and he had to save somebody from somebody, and like he got into the women's section, and he was like, "Oh no, ladies!" They all wanted to make love to him, and he's like, "No, ladies, I can't. I gotta go save such and." Such.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ah, damn.
There was
Good
another one
time.
I remember where he was with the Predators.
Yep. But at that point, like I said, the man, like I probably should have sat down and listened to him a bit more, and I could have made a movie script off some of the shit that that came out of his mouth.
Right.
Would have had me in charge. Like I would have given him money for it too. I would have been like, bro, I've made like tens of millions off this. Here's your half. Like, thank you. We rich now, nigga.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like honestly, the frat house was a wild place. We had like, well, we had Charlie, who was our not like the person that was like a person that needed help, and like Uncle Ron was actually like I will always have love for Uncle Ron because that man took care of any of us, no questions asked. Like he just wanted us to be safe, and honestly, a lot of us probably would have been way worse. Like one will probably be dead.
Yeah, he
Like
tried.
I my criminal record would probably be way worse than it is. It's only possession charges and criminal mischief for the you judgy ass motherfuckers out there. I can feel the judgment. Uh, oh Lord, if Reader had just been left unattended in the world,
Right.
like especially me and Reader together,
That man
like me,
did shit just to see if he could.
no, 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 actually, like you remember how he went around branding people with the
Yeah,
pipe? I
yeah.
technically am the first person that was ever branded, except I was the only one that wasn't willing. Well, Muggs was not willing after. Muggs was the first one that got hit with the pipe. But with me, it was when he still wasn't partaking. And I kept on trying to hand him shit. It's like, so, like, it was me, him, and Vic, and then he's just like, whoosh. It's like, so he told, like, for years, I didn't know why. I now know why. Like, but yeah, also, like, another deciding factor in a lot of everybody being, like, surviving is, like me and Reed were talking about it. If he had stayed down here, like, the way we were partying and we were just going out to shows and doing, like, it was gonna end bad. Like, mind you, like, it was already kind of bad. We both had independent cults and, like, Jesus, like, our youth was wild, man. I don't think, like, I still trip out on something. Like, I was like,
I remember when Reader had his binder of what was the Church of Plazwan or something,
yeah,
and it was he was going to turn it into a religion.
good time. I miss being young. Like, honestly, it's because the only reason I miss it is because back then I did not think about the like it was living in the moment. Now it's just like, damn, struggle. Like, it's like responsible. Like, I had shirked responsibilities for so long, it was just wild. And like now it's just like, damn. And there's been a lot of missed opportunities in between too. Like, I could have kept living that life had I listened to Jeff many, many years ago and invested in Bitcoin when I was still in the game. I would be rich right now. We would be sitting on a yacht recording this shit. But somehow we got sidetracked way the fuck off over to here. But that's good. I enjoy that. One thing I would like to get into is like something we've been complaining about a lot lately is the streaming services and their various habits, behaviors, and sort of things they be doing lately.
Yeah, they keep slowly increasing the prices because
Like
they
for
ain't
some,
making enough money already.
like I can see it, but like here's my thing: if you're gonna charge me $30 for a bundle, Hulu and Disney, I'm actually this next couple of I'm gonna go off on a tangent. Forgive me. They still haven't fixed the very fucking stupid problem that I fucking have. So I upgraded my Disney Plus to include Hulu and HBO. I can only use HBO. I can use Hulu in the Disney app, but that's not the point. I should be able to log into Hulu with my Disney, right? Have me go through, do all the stuff. I go to click agree and continue to the terms of services. Nothing happens. It's as if I didn't even click on the button. Click it, nothing. Nada. I call in, well, I chat in, and these people sit here and tell me, well, they take me through the whole problem solving. Nothing. They go up to the top tier of the tech support. Oh, well, we're aware of this problem. We're working on fixing it. I'm like, okay. I'll call back in a few days just to get the gist of this. Call back like 3-4 days later. I gave them some time. They go through the same thing, still nothing. And I'm like, okay, guys, look, at this point in time, I'm almost a week without a third of my services. If I call back in next time and like it's not resolved, we're gonna have to talk about some credit. And well, since then, I called back in like a week later. So this is 2 weeks after this. Oh, sir, we had like we're aware of the problem, we're still working on it, yada yada. Here's some credit to your account. We're now on 3.5 weeks. I've been delaying calling in because I'm going to be very angry. So, of all the problems in the world to have with a streaming service, don't you think that not being able to agree to the terms of services is the dumbest fucking problem to have? Like,
Yeah.
do you not want my service? Like, what's going on here, Disney? What's going on here, Hulu? Let's fix this problem.
Might as well just
Get on
merge
my
them, like merge the two and become one, like completely. Instead of Disney and Hulu, it should just be the Disney Hulu app.
yeah, but they're fucking dipshits. Speaking of which, have you also noticed like how each one of these streaming, like Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix, one does a documentary on something, the other does the same damn like almost the same damn documentary, or like
I really don't watch a lot of documentaries, but
it's not even about
um,
watching them. Like I'll sit here and be scrolling, and I'll be like, oh, and I'll read the like because I like to read to see what something's about. I'll watch documentaries, but it's like I got to be in a mood, so I'll put it in my list. But then I'll sit here and read on something in one of the other apps and be like, wait, this is already in my list, and it's a different fucking. It's like I don't even know how, like, especially when it comes to entertainment or historic, like just straight up history. It's like, okay, and you're like, it's like you're lying, like one side, like you're lying in certain parts. Both of, like, all of them have lies, and it's like y'all just got trying to make something salacious to get views or get ratings or whatever. Like some of it's just weird. Like I don't get the purpose of having both, or like I don't know why one has to sit here and do a document. Like, you know what? They did the documentary on this subject. Let's do this one instead. Let's go to a completely different subject that's more intriguing rather than the same shit on a different app.
well, I guess it's because original material is becoming sparse nowadays. Why do you think they're doing so many remakes of things? They're out of ideas.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they would do remakes of shit that wasn't like there's this meme that goes around like every so often that they shouldn't be doing remakes of good movies. They should be doing remakes of bad movies that had good story and everything that just didn't have the right guidance or finances.
Right.
Like Dune is a prime example of that.
Which one?
Dune,
Yeah.
like Dune
You
in
know
the
they
eight,
had made a second Doom movie.
like to the current ones,
No, it because they
or
had
are you talking?
you're talking about like with The Rock, right? Doom.
No, no,
What Doom are you talking about?
Dune.
Oh, dude. Oh, sorry.
Like the thing that was made in the '80s with Sting, and that's done now today with Dave Bautista. Like that was a story at the time for everything that it needed. It wasn't feasible cost wise. Space travel, all that good jazz. The like watch the old Dune and watch this Dune, and it looks phenomenally better. The story moves along a lot better. Um, we should start doing stuff like that. Movies that could benefit from a remake rather than this made us money in the past. Let's try to make some more money because a lot of the times I feel when they do that, people are just not for it.
Yeah.
But Oh, also, now that we're going into the streaming, let's get into our robbery. And the fact that Blizzard, I would like to remind you that there is more than Netflix out there to do these projects with. Apparently, according to IGN, there were movies or something in the works between Netflix and what's it called? Bloody hell. Netflix and Netflix and Blizzard. There we go. And in that, they sat here and like somewhere along the line,